You're listening to Talk with Audrey.
FICO scores are used by 90% of top lenders, and to help consumers improve their credit knowledge and outline a path to achieve their financial goals, FICO has launched initiatives to empower consumers to understand their credit health. Joining me now, the money coach, Lynette Khalfani-Cox. She's going to talk about the tools you need to better understand your credit and financial health, some of the facts and myths around credit scores, and how you can develop a plan to achieve your financial goals. Welcome.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. Great to join you today.
It's my pleasure. So let's start out with the basics. It seems like the FICO score is something that everybody wants and they want it to be perfect. What is it, and why is it important that everyone know what their FICO score is?
Well, a FICO score is a 3-digit number, and it's calculated using the information that's found in your credit reports. And those reports are maintained by the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So FICO doesn't maintain people's data. The credit bureaus do. But the FICO score was created by Fair Isaac Corporation back in the 1950s. And as you mentioned, even today, they're the most widely used credit scores in America. 90% of top lenders use FICO scores. So why is it important? Well, anytime any of your listeners are going to apply for any kind of credit or maybe get a loan like an auto loan or a mortgage, it's very, very likely that their lender is going to pull a FICO score. So you really want to know what yours is, because having a strong FICO score is going to help you save money in the long run. You're going to get lower interest rates and fees on credit and loans, and you're going to be able to show to a lender that you're less of a risk. Because, again, the higher your score, the better. And those scores, those FICO scores, typically range from 300 to 850 points. We want to get people in a really healthy credit zone where they're able to get the loans that they want at the very best loan rates and terms.
So the credit bureaus then rate your credit, and then it all goes into this FICO score. As you know, right now, people are really concerned about their FICO score because it's going to impact their future. And oftentimes there are circumstances that you can't control. So what can you control to keep your score up?
Well, you can do a lot of things to preserve and protect and to improve upon your FICO score. But first, let me just tweak a little bit of something that you said about the credit bureaus. You've got to think of them as more like a repository of data. They're holding the information that's in your files. And some of that information is what is actually salient and important for people to know about when it comes to their FICO score. So again, the underlying data is what's used to calculate the FICO score. And there's really kind of 5 main factors that go into it. So the first part, the most important, and it addresses your question directly about what people can do, is your payment history. So 35% of your payment track record determines your FICO credit score. So you always want to pay your bills on time. Try never to have any 30-day late payments or anything like that. The second component is the amount of debt that you're carrying. And specifically, a lot is tied to the amount of credit card debt that folks have. So you want to try to keep those credit card balances as low as possible. The third factor relates to the length of a person's credit history. That's 15% of your FICO score. Generally, the longer your credit history, the better it is for you. And then the final 2 factors, 10% is based on new credit or new applications for credit. And the last component is also 10%. That's related to the mix of credit or the type of credit that's found in your credit files. So if you kind of keep those 5 factors in mind, it really does give you a lot of guidance about what to do and, frankly, what not to do to maintain a strong credit rating. I'm just really encouraging people to actively monitor their credit. Certainly if you're going to apply for a loan, yes, but really at all times, each one of us should maintain a positive credit rating and stay on top of our score, and in particular, the score that matters most, your FICO score.
And then that is to check your credit rating also so that you can correct any incorrect information that might be there.
That's correct. And so you should be checking your credit reports and you should be checking your credit scores as well. So, consumer groups have shown that there can and do exist mistakes in people's credit files. So if you find a mistake in your credit file, you definitely want to dispute it with the credit bureaus. Again, they're maintaining the data. So that's who you would reach out to for that. But on the score front, people can check their scores in three primary ways. First, there's a program called FICO Score Open Access. And this is an initiative that lets people get their FICO scores absolutely free by going to any one of about 200 financial institutions that FICO has partnered with. So they'll provide to consumers, again, free complimentary access to their FICO scores, as well as information about the top factors that are affecting your scores. So all you got to do is, look at your statement for your mortgage or your auto loan or your credit card, et cetera, and check to see if your lender participates in that FICO Score Open Access program. If so, go ahead and check your scores free of charge through that. Then secondly, FICO also has this program called Score a Better Future. Awesome initiative. They can find more information about it online at scoreabetterfuture.com. But essentially, they're giving free credit workshops and free credit counseling to folks, all throughout the country. And people who want to get help with achieving their goals can, get that information virtually online right now because we're in the pandemic. And there is one coming up, too, on February 24th that people can, again, sign up for and get some assistance on that front. And lastly, you can just go online to myfico.com as well. You get your credit reports, your credit scores. You get to stay on top of any changes in your credit profiles or anything that's updated, any alerts that you might need to see if something changes in your credit profile, because they'll show you the activity and what's going on with all three credit bureaus through a monthly subscription plan.
All right. So it seems to me you have to be on top of all of this information that's out there about you and your financial health, and certainly having a better understanding of your FICO score and improving your own financial knowledge is going to be key to that. Give us that website again. You mentioned a couple where people can go for more information or to improve their financial knowledge.
So, Audrey, the first one I mentioned was scoreabetterfuture.com, and that's the one where they'll get free financial credit education. They can sign up for those events that are taking place. The other one is myfico.com, where they can get their scores and reports and a monthly subscription plan. And I'll tell you something. Do you have 1 minute left?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. I was going to say, I'll tell you just a quick story here from my own personal adventures in terms of using FICO services and getting a monthly subscription to be able to monitor and stay on top of my credit. Before the pandemic, of course, I traveled a lot, and I would do workshops and seminars. Did some stuff recently in Oakland in the Bay Area. But several years ago, I was actually in Tucson, and I was giving a speech at the YWCA. I rented a car from a car rental company. I used my debit card, and then pretty much either that same night or early the next morning, I got an alert from FICO about an inquiry that was on my credit report. And I'll tell you, at first I kind of panicked. I was like, wait, I didn't apply for any credit. Did somebody steal my identity or use my Social Security number? And no, it was none of that. It was simply that when I used my debit card, unbeknownst to me, car rental companies will sometimes pull your credit if you're using a debit card. So even me, the money coach, I didn't know this at the time, and an inquiry was generated on my credit report, and my score fell a little bit as a result of that. And I would not have even known had I not been using FICO's monitoring services. So I was actually grateful for that. So I reached out immediately, and I was like, hey, what happened here? And then, of course, the car rental company said, here, check the fine print. Yep, we do tell you that we can pull your credit report if you use a debit card. So we're all learning and growing, and this is, part of the beauty of managing your credit and staying on top of it. When you know a little bit more, you can do a little bit better with things, and that's the good news, because your score is definitely going to fluctuate, but whatever your score is today, it doesn't have to be your score in the future. You can positively affect it by, as I mentioned, paying those bills on time, keeping your debts low, avoiding inquiries unless you really and truly need credit of some kind, that kind of thing. And needless to say, I don't use a debit card anymore to rent cars.
Right.
I'll just use a standard credit card and avoid that that situation.
I tell you what, live and learn, right? Live and learn. So
That's
Lynette
right.
Khalfani-Cox has been my guest. Your FICO score is up to you. You can change it. Lynette Khalfani-Cox, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. My pleasure.